Alright, so today we are going to learn how to write and solve one-step equations from a visual model. I'm reading from the top here. Variables are used to represent an unknown quantity. Each model below represents a situation with an unknown quantity. Define your variable, write an equation, and then find the value of the unknown quantity. So for our first example, we have a balanced scale, which means that the left side must be equal to the right-hand side. On the left side, we have 3 apples, and on the right-hand side, we have 15 units or 15 blocks. So we know that the right-hand side is worth 15. We know we have 3 apples here, but what we don't know is the value of each apple, which is going to be our unknown quantity. So our variable is going to be A, the value of each apple. Okay, since we have 3 apples on the left-hand side, our equation is going to be 3 times the value of an apple is equal to 15 units on the right-hand side. So our equation is 3A, 3 times A, equals 15. Now to find our solution, we want to know how much each one apple is worth. So to figure out the value of each one apple, we have to ask ourselves 3 times what number is going to give us 15. Well, I know that 3 times 5 is 15, so I know the value of each apple has to be 5. I could have also used my inverse operation there. 3 times A equals 15, so I could have divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So we get that 1A equals 5 or A equals 5. Okay, if I plugged 5 back into my original situation, I have 5, 5, and 5. The value of each apple is 5. 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15, which would give us a balanced scale here. Okay, if I look at number 2, on the left-hand side, I have a brown paper bag and then 3 units. And on the right-hand side, I have 9 units. So my variable is going to be my unknown quantity, which is B, the value of the bag. Okay, we know that the left-hand side and the right-hand side must be balanced here. They must be equal. On the left-hand side, we have our bag, but then we also have 3 units added to our bag. On the right-hand side, we have 9 units, and because they're balanced, we know that B plus 3 must equal 9. So I want to know the value of the bag. Our equation is B plus 3 equals 9. To find the value of the bag, I have to ask myself, what has to be added to 3 to give us a value of 9? Well, I know that in my head. 6 has to be added to 3, so I know that the bag must be equal to 6, because 6 plus 3 equals 9. Okay, I could have also used my inverse operation to solve that. I have B plus 3 equals 9, so I could have subtracted 3 from this side and gotten 0, subtracted 3 from this side, and I get 6. We get B equals 6. All right, for our next problem, it's a little bit different. So on one scale, we have a pumpkin and we have an 8-pound weight. And we know that the total of those together is 19 pounds. So for this one, our unknown quantity is going to be P, the weight or the value of our pumpkin. That's what we're trying to find. Okay, we know that if we add the weight of our pumpkin with the 8-pound weight, we're going to get a total of 19 pounds. So our equation is P plus 8 equals 19. So I need to know what number I have to add to 8 to get 19. So I can use my inverse operation to figure this out. I have P plus 8 equals 19. So if I subtract 8, I get 0. What I'm doing there is I'm eliminating the weight from the scale. But if I eliminate the 8 from the scale, that means that my overall weight would also go down by 8 pounds. When I subtract 19 minus 8, I get 11. Okay, I subtracted the 8-pound weight from the 19 total pounds, and I got 11 pounds. So that means that the weight of the pumpkin must be 11 pounds. If I plugged that back in, my 11-pound pumpkin plus my 8-pound weight is a total of 19 pounds. Okay. Now I'm going to look at number 4. So for question 4, on the left-hand side, I have a 12-pound weight and a vase, and that has to be equal to my right-hand side, which is a 28-pound weight. So my variable, my unknown quantity here, is V, the weight or the value of the vase. Okay, our equation here is we've got the 12-pound weight plus the vase is the same as the 28-pound weight. Okay, so I have 12 plus my vase is equal to 28. To figure out what just the vase is, I could get rid of my 12-pound weight. So subtract the 12-pound weight from the left-hand side, and that would give me 0 pounds added to it. But then I have to also subtract 12 pounds from the 28-pound weight. So when I subtract 12 from 28, I get 16, which means my vase has to equal 16 units or 16 pounds. Okay, I can check that by saying, well, the 12-pound weight plus the 16-pound vase has to be equal to the 28-pound weight. I know that 12 plus 16 is equal to 28, so that answer is correct. Okay, for number 5, we've got an unknown value in this medium-sized block. Okay, we're going to call that X. X is our unknown box. And then we know that we have 5 units added to it. So we've got X plus 5 on the left-hand side of our equation. And we know that that has to be equal to our 18 unit block on the right-hand side. So we've got X plus 5 is equal to 18. So to figure out what the value of this unknown block is, we're going to get rid of these 5 blocks that we have there. So we're going to subtract 5, and we get 0. Now we've got X plus 0, which is the same thing as just X. But since we got rid of 5 blocks on this side, we have to also get rid of 5 blocks on the other side to keep our scale balanced. And that's going to give me 13, which means our unknown block has to have a value of 13. To check that, I can say, well, if I have 13 plus my 5 blocks, that has to be equal to the 18 over here. 13 plus 5 is 18, so I know that that is correct. All right, and for our last one here, number 6, we have 3 different weights, and we don't know how much each of these weights weigh, but we do know that they're the same size. We know that the total weight of the 3 weights is 630 grams. So our variable we'll say is W, the value of one weight. Okay, so our equation here, since we have 3 weights, we're going to say we've got 3 times 1 weight has to be equal to 630 grams. Okay, this one I cannot do in my head. I know that I have 3 weights, and altogether those weigh 630 grams. So to find the value of 1 weight, I'm going to divide the 630 grams by the 3 weights to figure out what the value of 1 weight is. Oops, that should be 3. So I know that 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. And 3 goes into 3 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. And 3 goes into 0 0 times. So I know that each weight must weigh 210 grams. And let's see if that makes sense. If I have 210 3 times, 200 3 times would be 600. 10 3 times would be 30. So that does make sense. That would be 630 total. So my answer makes sense here too.